All right, obviously know we're good enough tonight in any phase. When you can't run the ball, when you can't stop the run, when you lose the turnover battle, that's going to happen, and completely unacceptable, disappointing to say the least. Questions?
Shane, just looking at this and trying to make sense of it, just where did you think it started to go wrong immediately? Was it the defense, the offense?
I mean, first quarter, I don't know what it was, but we couldn't stop them and we couldn't stay on the field in the first quarter. I mean, I think it seems like forever ago, but I think they scored on the first three possessions, if I'm not mistaken. They scored the first three times they touched the ball, and we couldn't stay on the field. So, I mean, they went up and down the field on us in the first quarter, and we weren't able to stay on the field as well. Having said that, we got some points before the half, David, and felt, as ugly as the first half was, I mean, we felt good. We told the players all week it's going to be tough. It's one of the great environments in all of college football. It's going to be hard. Just keep swinging and just get this thing to the fourth quarter, and let's go find a way to win it in the fourth quarter. And when you go out on offense in the third quarter and go turnover in what, 3 plays, 4 plays? 4 plays. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Actually, my state semifinal game was my senior year in high school. We fumbled the ball the first 2 times. We touched the kickoff return and the first play of offense to start the game. But to go 4 plays and 3 turnovers, completely unacceptable. Florida leads the SEC in turnover margin. You see why. We're last in the SEC in turning the ball over, and you saw why tonight. So we've obviously got to be a whole lot better at ball security and protecting the football, because we didn't do a great job of protecting it to start the second half, and credit to our defense too. Though I mean, we put them in some tough positions, and they kept playing. And I just told the team in there, like, I'm proud of the way they fought, but they fought their asses off, and it wasn't always pretty, but the effort was good. And we're going to find out a lot about this team. I mean, I saw what kind of men we have in that room. Now we have to obviously coach and play a lot better than what we did tonight.
And on those 3 turnovers to start the half, was there something specific you saw on those plays? Was it just bad ball protection? Like, what was the issue there?
Yeah, I think they do a great job of getting the ball out, and didn't see all of them. I know one of them, I guess Jalen's play was a bang-bang play, and the guy did a nice job of coming downhill. I mean, they're physical in the secondary and did a nice job of attacking our guys and knocking the ball out. And we've got to certainly be better at protecting it. So, no, I didn't see anything specifically. Emily, just good plays by them and poor ball security, by us as well.
Shane, obviously Florida came in having given up a couple big plays over the course of the year. What was the issue tonight in doing that, and what do you guys have to do to be a little bit more consistent?
And not being able to create big plays against them. Yeah, I wish I knew. I mean, they were better than us tonight, without a doubt. I'll look at the video on the plane going home, but one thing, I thought they did a really good job of tackling. I mean, we had some one-on-one opportunities on the perimeter with our running backs and receivers, and we lost some one-on-one battles tonight with ball carriers, and we've won too many of those, and we got to do a great job. Continue to do a great job of making people miss and winning those one-on-ones also.
First 3 plays, or first 3 possessions y'all had on the team, whether it's them playing well, y'all not playing well, play calling, is there anything
to start the game?
Yeah, start the game.
Nothing that I can remember. I mean, we weren't good enough. I'll have a better answer for you tomorrow night on the teleconference, Hale, but just fresh off that, I mean, I don't remember. They did a good job of defeating blocks, and we wanted to get the ball on the perimeter, and I think we ran a little perimeter play on the second play of the game and got beat. Their defensive back, beat our receiver. I know we ran the counter, I think, the first play of the game, and they did a good job, obviously, of stopping it. So, don't know. We'll have to continue to see what happened there.
Marshawn and CBS didn't travel. What's
Yeah.
the reason there?
Marshawn, same injury, the contusion or deep thigh bruise that he has. He actually practiced on whatever day I told you guys he practiced, or told somebody that he practiced. He actually practiced that day. Was that Tuesday? Wednesday. He actually practiced and looked really, really good in practice. Like, we didn't think he was going to practice on Wednesday. He went full speed, and we thought everything was going to be good. And then he came in the next day, David, and just it had swelled up on him a little bit, and he just didn't respond to the swelling like we wanted on Thursday and into Friday. So he stayed home to try and continue to get that better. CBS obviously got banged up a little bit in the Vanderbilt game, and and just wasn't able to. It was a foot and wasn't able to progress to the point where we felt like he could give us carries tonight. So it was the Jaheim and Juju obviously are going to be our running backs tonight.
Shane, from what you saw of this offense today, what's your biggest concern going forward into the next game or two?
Not turning the ball over, first of all, Gene. I mean, 3 of 11 on third down, 44 yards rushing, turned the ball over 3 times. Just not good enough. You know, we've got to sustain drives, and we said it going into this game. In the last staff meeting or last meeting I had with Clayton and Sat and Pete at the hotel was, if Florida's out there for 80 plays tonight, that does not bode well for us because of our depth issues and injuries on defense. We've got to stay on the field and sustain drives, and they were out there, it looks like, for 79. And we tried to stay on the field. I mean, going for some fourth downs, faking the punt. I mean, those were all trying to just, 1, stay on the field, and 2, not leave our defense out there forever. And the defense has got to get off the field too. I mean, when you give up 374 yards rushing, we've got to be better at creating turnovers, and we didn't do a great job of that. But to answer your question, Gene, there's a lot. Can't turn the ball over, and we got to be able to run the ball and stay on the field.
I understand that Spencer can't do anything about the fumbles, but is the gap between him and Luke that wide that you don't want to give him a shot at all?
I wouldn't say that. Spencer certainly got to play better. Spencer couldn't do anything about the fumbles either. We're constantly about competition at quarterback, and we've certainly got to be better at every position. We're about competition everywhere, and we've got to be better everywhere than we were tonight. Nobody was good enough.
Shane, I know we can't hear it because it's a tough matchup, but in terms of those first few drives, I mean, beyond just being able to extend plays the way that he can, what were you seeing from your guys' defense in terms of maybe not reacting to it or responding? What did you kind of see?
I don't know. I mean, we obviously knew going into the game, Ben, that it starts and stops with him. He's a phenomenal player. He's such a big guy, and he's so fast, as you guys know. And I mean, they did a good job. They're good on the offensive line. They're big. They're physical. And we got knocked around a little bit and didn't do a great job of tackling a couple times. We misfit some gaps. I think we missed some tackles, just a combination of things, and give them credit. They started great and did a good job.
Being on both sides of the ball, how much of the struggles were execution versus game plan, and as coaches, how do you maybe make things a little bit easier for players when they're actually on?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we always look at, Colin, making sure that we got a plan that we can execute, and certainly tonight was no different offensively. What we can go execute, being smart, because we're missing our top 2 running backs, and you get into pass protection issues and things like that with guys playing running back other than Juju that really haven't played a ton of running back this year. So you got to be smart and making sure that we're not doing too much, and felt like we did defensively. Same thing. We had Tyrese Ross played meaningful snaps tonight for the first time, and who was OD, and a lot of those guys were in there doing some things. So we knew we needed to be smart about the calls on defense to give our guys a chance to go get lined up, knowing that we had some new faces in there also. Brad Johnson didn't play, and Debo was in there a lot, and Stone Blanton. So we're always looking at that. It obviously wasn't right tonight, whatever we did schematically, offensively and defensively, and got to look at why and be better here in these next 2 games in the bowl game.
And just to follow up, there was no thought about going to Luke late in the game, or was that all Spencer?
Late in the game, though. I mean, Luke's at a point right now, Colin, where he's played in 4 games. So, I mean, I wasn't going to put him in with 3 minutes left in the game or whatever, 4 minutes left in the game, and burn that 4th game. And I'm not saying we're sitting here adamant about playing or redshirting Luke, but with 3 minutes left in a game that we weren't going to win, I wasn't going to put him in there late in the game at that point.
It's going to be lost in everything, but your special teams kind of gave you a fighting chance all
Yeah.
game long. What do you take from their particular effort and what they were able to do?
Yeah, they were awesome. They really were. The fake punt was great job of executing. Got exactly what we thought we were going to get. Tried to fake one a little bit earlier, but we didn't get the look that we wanted. And then that one, we wanted to get their defense out there on the field, Phil, and keep their defense out there, which they did. And great throw and catch, and gave us a spark. Actually, that was a play or a fake punt we put in against Charlotte that we just haven't run yet. And then the the van punt return as well was really, really big to give us field position. So those guys did some great things. Didn't execute the extra point, the little muddle huddle thing like we wanted. But you're right. You know, Kai hit some punts. We did a nice job for the most part in coverage. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I believe we did. You know, Cam and those guys. Thank you. Cam did a good job. I mean, those to me, and I've said it before, and I believe it. Like you tell a lot about your team. When their field goal block team after a team scores a touchdown, the effort that they play with, and then just field goal block in general when they're trying to kick field goals. And I mean, Cam was adamant about sending him and things like that, and those guys really work at it. And we've been telling them, I mean, that they're due for one, and it was good to see those guys play with effort tonight. So certainly, that was a positive special teams wise, and we want to be good in all three phases, and we weren't in all three phases tonight, but that's certainly something that we can take some things from for sure.
When you get down early like that, how much does that kind of alter game script in a game like today, down 21, or were you still able to kind of do what you want to do, just weren't executing?
Yeah, we were doing what we wanted to do. I mean, we weren't going to get into. I mean, we didn't feel like 21 points was going to win the football game. In other words, I mean, coming into it. If we were going to win, I mean, they've been playing really well offensively. They did in the second half against Georgia. They did, not just offensively, but as a team. Second half against Georgia, the whole game last week against A&M. So they're really, really good on offense, and we knew we were going to have to score some points. But no, when it was 21-0, we weren't going to just throw out the plan. I mean, we still wanted to pop some runs in there and be able to run the football and execute our offense. And again, just keep chipping away and keep fighting and just try and find a way to get it to the fourth quarter. And then you couldn't start the second half worse than what we did. I mean, 3 turnovers and backed up, in our territory. Tough to chip away when you're doing that.
Took 2 more Davis than Hale.
No.
Vershawn and Wyatt didn't travel or anything.
Yeah, Wyatt had a little bit of a high ankle deal in practice the other day. I don't think it's long term. Vershawn was sick. We battled the flu a little bit this week in practice or on our team, and we had, I guess, 9 guys this week that missed at least one day of practice with just flu, whatever's going around. Brad was one of them. And some other guys as well that were starters out there tonight. Cam, Boogie, we had some guys that were down with the flu. Vershawn was sick. Vershawn was sick also, and just didn't progress health-wise well enough to make the trip.
Did any of that affect you guys, or is that not?
That'd be making an excuse. No, I think it's making excuses. Certainly, conditioning-wise, probably some guys weren't where they are. But again, it's November in the SEC. I don't know if anybody feels good physically right now as well.
Yeah. That shifting that they did on their defensive line a couple of times through procedure penalties, but I saw you kind of animated with one of the officials over there. What was your argument to him about what they were doing?
It was something that we had in my pregame meeting with the officials that they're allowed to move. We do. We did it tonight, just trying to mix up the fronts and things like that. But what you're not allowed to do is the defensive linemen use a verbal cadence, if you will, to move, or move with maybe a little bit more exuberance than you need to change gaps. And just making sure when I was talking to the official, who they do a fantastic job, just making sure that if they were making move calls, it was coming from the linebackers and that they weren't doing more than they needed to be doing just to change a gap. And they told me they weren't, that everything was legal, and that was the conversation we had.
Do you think that caused those 2 procedure penalties of that shift?
It didn't help, but we got to handle that. We see it in practice every day, Phil. We do it. Our defense does it. Teams have done it against us this year. It's nothing new. When you're playing on the road and in a venue like this at night, it's going to be loud, and you got to be able to handle the crowd noise and execute and sit in there and not flinch. We saw A&M when we played A&M in Columbia. The weapon that a crowd can be, and in real life, that's life in the SEC on the road.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you all. Travel safe going home.